All right, what's up, guys? It's Mattsboosted, and one question I get asked all the time: should I get a Corvette C6 over a Corvette C7? And it's a great question. Well, in my opinion, I think the Corvette C6 is a better car for the money, and here's why, man. Let's talk about it. If you're looking at Corvette C6s, you're looking at the LS2, LS3, LS7 if you get the Z06, LS9 if you're getting a Corvette C6 ZR1. And with the Corvette C6s, the prices, they can vary pretty dramatically, all the way from $20,000 for an LS2 Corvette C6 up to $85,000, $100,000 for the Corvette C6 ZR1. With the Corvette C7, you can probably get a base model Grand Sport starting around $40,000, $45,000. If you're getting the C7 Z06, though, which I absolutely love, you're going to pay around $65,000, $60,000 at the lowest for one of those bad boys. Now, they're awesome cars, but they do get pricey. So at that point, you start deciding, should I get a Corvette C6 ZR1 or should I get a C7 Z06? It can be difficult to decide. With the Corvette C7, they also have a ZR1, but that baby is super pricey. If you're looking at a Corvette C7 ZR1, you're going to pay $125,000 plus easily for one of those bad boys, and they're Super 6 700 horsepower. So I guess in all fairness, the C7 prices vary quite a bit as well. Now the C6 right off the get, of course, it's a little bit older car. You know, the C7, it came out in 2014 until 2019. It's a little bit newer. It's got the LT1. It's about 450, 460 horsepower. Makes good power. If you get the Z06 and the C7, you've got the LT4, which is like 600 horsepower stock. And we all know if you throw some meth and you port the blowers and full bolt-ons on that bad boy, you can make 1,000 horsepower. And both of those cars are really nice, man. And the good thing about the C7 is you get a little bit newer technology. Now with the C6, on the other hand, you know, you've got the base model, you've got the Grand Sport. If you're looking at a C6, I'd recommend at least getting a Grand Sport. And if you're debating between a C6 and C7, you're probably thinking about a Grand Sport or maybe even a Z06. Now with the C6, for the money, I think the best bang for the buck is the Grand Sport. Now, if you can find a good deal on the Z06, C6 that's had the heads fixed, new heads, all that good stuff, that could be a really sweet ride. The thing with the Z06 is it comes down to what's your long-term goals. If you're using the LS7 and the Z06, it's not going to be great for boost. But if you want to keep it NA, it's going to be a wonderful platform and the best platform NA out of the entire lineup. Now with the C6 Z06, you can get one for about $45,000. You can get lucky, find one for about $40,000. The C6 Grand Sport, you can find one for about $35,000. So really price-wise, you're getting closer with the C6 Z06 and the C7 base model Grand Sport than anything. So it makes it really difficult, man. But the biggest difference, honestly, is that the C7, it looks a little bit more like a supercar. With the C7, you don't have the circle taillights anymore. And a lot of guys say they stop at the C6 just because it's got the classic circle taillights. And the C6, honestly, a lot of guys just really like the C6. A lot of guys just like Corvettes in general, but for some reason, the C6 is a little bit different level, and you can do some mods to the C6, even though it's a little bit older, make it a little bit newer. You're probably gonna have a little bit cheaper insurance. And based on what I've heard about the Corvette C6, C7, the C6 actually, it has a little bit better cargo space overall compared to the C7. And a lot of guys say the C6, it's a little roomier. With the C7, don't get me wrong, it's a newer car, so you've got newer technology, which is the biggest benefit of the C7. If you want something that's newer, the C7 is definitely going to fit the bill. The C6 is going to be a little bit older car, of course. Even with the ZR1, the Z06 is going to be older. The C7 is going to be much newer, especially if you get a 2019 or something like that. Now, if you're looking at the Corvette C6 or the Corvette C7, I recommend getting the newest model possible. And with the C7, I'd recommend getting like a 2018 or newer, 2017. And with the C6, I would get at least a 2011 plus. You know, to me, in my opinion, the C6 is better because you just get more performance for the dollar. You've got the LS platform, which we all know, it just speaks for itself. The C6, you get more of a raw driving experience overall just compared to the C7. You know, the C7's newer, it's got the newer electronics. And not to mention, honestly, with the C6, especially if you get the Z06 or something or the ZR1, it's lighter than the C7, so there you go right there. And the C6 is really, they're easier to work on. The C6s with LS2, LS3, even LS7, they're basically just truck engines, so they're pretty easy to work on, especially compared to the C7. So at the end of the day, man, if I had to decide, and I did have to decide, I went with the C6 because I think it's just better performance per dollar. You get more of a driver feel overall. It's cheaper to work on. It's got the LS engine, and it's just got the timeless Corvette C6 look with the round taillights. But if you want the more modern interior and just design in general, it's got the 8-speed automatic with the paddle shifters, which is pretty sweet. And a lot of guys say that they think the C7 handles a little better than their C6. Guys that have both of them, they say, man, honestly, the C6 C6, it handles well, but my C7, it handles really, really well, even though you don't get that full driver experience like the C6. So I think the downfalls about the C6 is honestly that the interior, it feels a little outdated. It lacks the modern tech. You know, it's a little bit dated design. There's a bunch of plastic on the inside. The base model, even though it's a good bang for the buck, it is a little underwhelming, especially compared to like a C7 Z06 or something. But the C7, it is going to be more expensive, heavier, a little bit more complex electronics. You don't have the LS platform, and a lot of guys say there's just a little bit less trunk and cargo space. So at the end of the day, man, it comes down to price, what you want from the car, what your goals are. If you want to build a car, if you want to mod it, if you want to make that bad boy rip, I would say go with the C7 Z06. But if you're not looking at that price range, you're looking at the 40 to 50K price range, then I would go with the Grand Sport, and I would just boost that bad boy. But I'm Mattsboosted, so I'm going to boost it either way. But I think the Corvette C6 is probably a little bit more mod friendly in that regard with the LS platform, unless you've got the C7 Z06. If you get a base model Corvette C6, you're going to pay about 20K. If you get a Grand Sport, you're going to pay about 35K. If you get a Z06 C6, you're going to pay about 45K. And if you get a C7 base model around 40-45, get a C7 Grand Sport around 45, 50 plus depending on the year, and the C7 Z06 you're going to pay around 65K plus. Either way, man, I appreciate you guys watching. If you're a fan of Corvettes, BMWs, fast cars in general, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up anytime, man. It's Mattsboosted. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.